Free Guy. Now, Free Guy is directed by Shawn, Levy, and stars Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer, Keery, and Taika Waititi. And basically, the film follows a character, Guy, played by Ryan Reynolds in the film, who is this AI in this video game called Free City. And basically, long story short, Guy ends up meeting Jodie Comer's character. And basically, after meeting Jodie Comer's character, Guy, played by Ryan Reynolds, starts acting differently than all the other AIs in this video game. And then all the other gamers who play Free City, or the gamers who play the video game which Ryan Reynolds' character existed, start to ask who is controlling Guy. And then it's actually shortly revealed that there's no games controlling him, and actually Guy is just an AI that's acting differently than all the other AIs in this game. And then Guy actually becomes the key to what's going on behind the scenes with Jodie Comer's character, Keery's character, and Taika Waititi's character as well. And that's basically the plot of Free Guy. And I've got to admit here, I found this movie enjoyable, but also overstuffed and just one big CGI mess that kind of got annoying after a while, to be honest. And I hate to say that, I really do, because I know a lot of people love this movie, but I just found it, quite frankly, boring after a while, and really annoying as well. Like, the whole film just feels like Shawn Levy, the director, and Ryan Reynolds, who's, executive producer on the film, just sat down and went, we want to make the Truman Show here, but bigger! We just want to make it bigger. That's what I feel like they want to do with this film, to make it all bigger than The Truman Show. And the thing is, though, you don't need to do that. The Truman Show is already a fantastic film. Go and watch that instead. But then what you get with Free Guy is just all these moments which feel like The Truman Show, but bigger. And it's just really, really annoying in the film, because I wish things were toned down a bit, because there's so much going on in the film. It's so overstuffed, and it's like one big CGI mess. And normally CGI in films doesn't hugely bother me, I've got to admit, but in this film, there was a little bit too much CGI in my opinion. And at the same time though, like I said before, the film feels like The Truman Show, but at the same time though, it also feels like a mix of The Truman Show and Ready Player One, the Steven Spielberg film which came out in 2018, which I liked quite a lot, by the way. The thing is though, I prefer The Truman Show and Ready Player One over this film, because they feel as long as they need to be. This film feels like it's trying to do too much in too little time. Honestly, it feels like it's got to do, right, we're going to go there now, I've got to go here now, I've got to go here now, I've got to go here now. Okay, let's add some really, really weird, convoluted plot moment in there. And it's like, what is going on in the film? Just slow down a bit and have some breathing space, for God's sake. Because honestly, there's just so much going on, and it's so convoluted, and after a while, it just started giving me a headache. And at the same time though, the film is meant to be an action comedy, quote unquote action comedy. I didn't laugh really once during the film. I chuckled a couple of times, but mainly the stuff like Jodie Comer's character was saying, or Keery's character was saying. I never really laughed at anything Ryan Reynolds was saying, and I'm gonna admit here, I'm not a fan of Ryan Reynolds. I mean, I never really liked the Deadpool movies. I didn't mind him in The Hitman's Bodyguard, actually, although I haven't seen the sequel, which isn't meant to be any good, but I didn't mind him in The Hitman's Bodyguard. But the thing is though, I'm not really a fan of Ryan Reynolds, and actually, I saw the trailer for this film, and it kind of put me off watching it, I've got to admit. But then, what turned me on to watching the film was all the amazing reviews we're getting, all these people who are absolutely adoring Free Guy. I'm baffled by that, by the way. I'm baffled by the fantastic reviews that this film has got. I just don't understand it. But anyway, I'm not really a fan of Ryan Reynolds, so do take my opinion with a grain of salt here, because bear in mind, it's a Ryan Reynolds film. He's the main star of the film, and he always gets a big box office, so clearly the majority like him more than me. But the thing is though, right, I never laughed at Ryan Reynolds throughout the whole of the film, and that was just really annoying. And it wasn't just me, by the way. I was in a cinema full of people. Well, the cinema was like half full, but I was in a cinema half full of people, and no one was laughing at the jokes either. It wasn't just me. I mean, I chuckled a couple of times, but like I said, mainly Jodie Comer's character or Keery's character. Those two characters are actually kind of fun to watch in the film, in my opinion. I mean, Jodie Comer is a standout. She's brilliant in this film. I mean, she's great as Villanelle in Killing Eve. She's one of the best parts of Killing Eve, in my opinion, and she's good in this film as well. And she's definitely the standout in a cast full of, I don't know, people who think they're funny. That's what it feels like. People who think they're funny. And that leads me on to Taika Waititi, who I just didn't find one bit funny in this film. Honestly, Taika Waititi continues to baffle me. I haven't really liked anything he's done since What We Do in the Shadows, which he co-directed with Jermaine Clements. So even that, he co-directed it. So I bet Jermaine Clements had his hands all over that film as well. And I bet he's toning down Taika Waititi's comedy in that film just a bit, which it needed to do. Because honestly, I'm not a fan of Thor Ragnarok. I'm in the minority there. I think Thor Ragnarok is overshadowed by its rubbish comedy. And at the same time though, I'm not a big fan of Jojo Rabbit either. I think it's got a really weird tonal change in there that just don't work that well. And honestly, yet again, I'm not a fan of Taika Waititi in this film. He's meant to be this big villain, and there's loads of jokes which he's telling in the film, and honestly, they just come across as crass, to be honest, and annoying and arrogant, and not in a nice way, not in a fun way. You can have characters, like Steve Coogan's character in the film Greed, where, they're quite egotistical and quite mean people on screen, but because of the way those characters play, like because of the way Steve Coogan plays, you know, Sir Richard McGreedy in Greed, you enjoy watching that character. I never felt the same with Taika Waititi as Antoine in this film. He actually just got annoying after a while, and every time I was on screen I was like, oh god, here we go, Taika Waititi thinking he's funny, and actually coming off as really, really annoying. And at the same time though, every single shot of the film, and by the way, this is not a hyperbole, I'm not exaggerating this, every single shot in the film feels like Shawn Levy, you know, the director of the film, sat down and was like, how many things can we have happening in this one shot? How many Easter eggs can we have in just this one shot? In every single shot of the film, there's about 15 million things going on, and that's not hyperbole. I'm not hyperbolizing that. Honestly, there's about 15 million things going on in every single shot of this film, and it got really annoying after a while, and it just started to give me a headache. I was like, oh my god, can we just slow down a bit? There's so much going on in every single shot, and it just felt so overstuffed and just like one big CGI mess, and not in a fun way either. Sometimes the CGI mess can be alright, actually, you know, fun for the wrong reasons, but that's not the case with Free Guy. In fact, it actually relies on the CGI way too much, way more than it really needs to, and honestly, it just became annoying after a while and gave me a headache, which I hate to say about this film, because the thing is though, it isn't a terrible film. There are some enjoyable aspects about it. It's got some good cameos from like famous actors, which I won't give too much away who they are, but I quite enjoyed the cameos, some which I didn't even notice at like the end of the film. I was watching the credits like, oh, he was in the film, I didn't even realise. But at the same time though, it's also got some other cameos from YouTubers, and when that started happening, it just felt too gimmicky, and it just felt like, oh, we're really going there, we're having YouTuber cameos in a big budget Ryan Reynolds film, directed by Shawn Levy, who's a well-established director, by the way, and we're having YouTuber cameos in this film. Are we really going there? And some of the YouTuber cameos have become unbelievably cringeworthy, and you know, the film becomes quite reliant on them as well. Like I thought like the YouTuber cameos were like one scene in the film. I was thinking, oh right, YouTuber cameo, just like there's one scene and then hopefully they'll go away. They keep coming back throughout the rest of the film. I remember PewDiePie and Ninja being in there quite a few times. I was like, seriously, we're really going there? And honestly, it was just like, it just felt so gimmicky, and it felt with the YouTuber cameos like this film was aiming itself at a demographic that I'm not a part of, and maybe that's why I don't like the film that much. And at the same time though, the film is enjoyable for like the first half an hour. I enjoyed watching it actually in the first half an hour, and I liked the opening of the film quite a lot. There's a cameo, well, I say a cameo, it comes back quite a lot in the film. There's a cameo at the start of the film. I won't give away who it is, but it's a cameo at the start of the film, which I liked quite a lot actually, and I really liked the way the film opened. I liked the first half an hour. I even liked the introduction to Jodie Comer's character as well. But then everything else after just felt like, oh god, just slow down a bit. Okay, there's so much going on in the scenes, there's so much going on in the shots, there's so much going on in this film. It just felt like the Truman Show, but bigger. It just felt like the Truman Show, but bigger. That's one of the reasons this film doesn't really work, in my opinion. Honestly, if you enjoy it, I'm really, really happy for you, but personally, I just thought it was a big CGI mess with unfunny characters, with the exception of Jodie Comer's character, which I like quite a lot. But even the way they finished Jodie Comer and Joe Keery's character arc in this film just felt so cheesy and felt like every single end to a rom-com you've ever seen before. Honestly, not to give too much away there, but it really wasn't that well done, in my opinion. It literally had me like this in the cinema. Oh god, we're not going here, are we? And honestly, there's some funny Easter eggs in there. It's not terrible, but the thing is though, it felt enjoyable to a degree, but annoying where it didn't need to be. And that's what I'm going to say about this film overall. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Free Guy, I'm going to say it's a 5.5 out of 10. Honestly, if you enjoy this film, I'm really happy for you, because if you found something in this film which I just haven't found, and bear in mind, do take my opinion with a grain of salt, because I'm not a fan of Ryan Reynolds. I went to go watch the film because people were raving about it, and actually, I just came out of it with a headache. And so, do take my opinion with a grain of salt here, because I'm not a fan of Ryan Reynolds, and he is the main star of the film. But saying that though, I didn't mind him in The Hitman's Bodyguard actually, so I did go into this film thinking, actually he might be better than I think he will be, but actually in the end, it just did the opposite, and it cements my opinion of Ryan Reynolds, which I previously had from the previous two Deadpool movies. And so, all in all, it doesn't work in my opinion. It's got unfunny characters in there, it's a big CGI mess, the film is way too reliant on CGI, and I get that it takes place in a video game world, I get that and everything, don't get me wrong, I understood that, because it kept saying, okay, this is happening in a video game, this is happening in a video game, that's where Guy is in a video game, they kept saying the word video game throughout the movie, so I understood that was happening in a video game world. But look at something like Ready Player One. That's not over-reliant on CGI. It's got a lot of CGI in there, don't be wrong, but it's not over-reliant on it. And at the same time though, this film just, when you start having YouTuber cameos in your film, which you know in about 10 years time won't make sense to anyone, so when you start having YouTuber cameos in your film, that's when the film starts to, you know, lose me a bit, because I'm not part of that demographic that would really understand that. You know, I kind of got who they were, because I had friends who'd watched them in the past. But that was really it. Honestly, some of the cameos in the film just didn't really work. Some of the famous actor cameos worked actually quite well. But honestly, when you have YouTuber cameos in the film, you're like, oh, your film's not going to age well now because you're doing this, you're focusing too much on your aspects of YouTubers, which is, you know, just contemporary at the moment. In about 10 years' time, no one will know who these YouTubers are. That's a fact. Or they might know who they are, but not really that well. And it's a film which is just too reliant on its Easter eggs, on its CGI. It's got a way over convoluted plot, which it doesn't really need to be. And honestly, I just lost the thread of the plot after a while because I was so bored and I had a huge headache after what was going on. And honestly, it's annoying in the end. It just felt annoying for me towards the end of the film. I was like, flipping out, this is another big CGI set piece here. Can we not just have a practical set piece at one point in this film? And you see some behind the scenes shots of this film, and you're like, oh, they used quite a lot of green screen. No wonder why. And honestly, in the end, it just didn't work for me. Like I said before, it's enjoyable to a degree, but it's annoying where it doesn't need to be. And that's my big problem with this film overall. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Free Guy, I'm going to say that it's a 5.5 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Free Guy? Please you comment down below and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please you click down below and like subscribe on the video and look forward to many more both film and TV come very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon, but bye for now, bye!